Somewhat of a quiet traditional national signing day for Nebraska, as is the norm in college football these days. Early National Signing Day takes the majority of the players, and traditional National Signing Day has become, I wouldn't say an afterthought, but a little bit of. But that gives us an opportunity to sift back through the players that we have gotten in this recruiting class and this portal season, and go into them a little bit in detail. So we're going to start with the transfer portal additions today, and I'll run through those and just rank them based on how I think they're going to impact the team in 2024. So before we get into that, first things first, my name is Justin Adams. Again, I'm a content creator here at Nebraska Football, the voice of college football. If you like what we do in here, please consider liking and subscribing. And, I'm trying to tailor the content towards what y'all want. So, I dropped a post in the community tab. If y'all want to go leave your comments there for video ideas and things that you may want to see from us, go ahead and drop them in there and I'll make it happen. So let's get into this a little bit without further ado. So starting at number 6, we're going to start with actually the first transfer into the class. It was Blye. And this one flew a little bit under the radar, mainly because the additions that followed were so important. However, Blyhill's no slouch. He was good at St. Francis, in 2023 freshman, 21 tackles, 2 interceptions, 8 pass breakups. He's a very tall and slight frame. He's 6'3", 165, but he's a tall, rangy corner. So that really helps him out in terms of being able to go up and get balls and play the balls if his ball skills are there. I wasn't able to find a lot of film at him on him, albeit because he was at St. Francis. However, he does fit what Matt Rule sees as a true cornerback with his frame. He recruits a couple of these other guys that are maybe a little bulkier that can possibly slide around, maybe play a little bit of outside back or bring him off, the edge, play him at safety. So very versatile style of guys, but I truly believe Blye will be a cornerback specifically and be that just based on his frame. So 87 rated 4-star or 3-star for what it's worth on 24/7. So, against rough, lower level competition. However, what is there, there's a lot to like, and that's all we can go on. So, but Blye comes in at 6 for me. Number 5 might surprise people just a little bit, but we'll dive into it. Hear me out and leave your comments where you agree and disagree. It's, it's fun to have these conversations. So, number 5, Dante Dowdell. Reason being, he will be in the mix day one without a doubt. Was a top 10 back in the 2023 class. I believe he was number 9 in the ranking that I looked. And he's a very physical, powerful runner. And he was mixed in at Oregon in a very, very crowded backfield. In a great Oregon offense. And so as a true freshman, didn't get a lot of playing time, but still averaged over 5 yards a carry as a true freshman. And, his film jumps off the page. He can run outside. He's a very physical. He invites contact. He loves contact. Very patient behind his blocks. So, he lets everything develop in front of him, but when he sees the hole, he attacks it. So really good vision, and just really, really downhill as soon as the opportunity presents itself. He hits the hole with intent, and identifies the openings quickly. That's the biggest thing is it's as soon as he sees the opening, wherever the crease may come, he hits it, and he hits it hard. And that is able to get him up to speed and acceleration while he hits that second level. And he was really able to break a lot of tackles in that second level because of that. And but he's also shifty in the open field when he needs to be. Doesn't really catch passes. So this was based off his high school film. Not a lot to go on at Oregon, but the running back room, we do have Gabe Urban, we have Quentin Ives, Emmett Johnson. So it remains to be seen how that running back room will be used exactly. Gabe Urban coming off the injury. So of course, if he is hampered, Dante Dowdell then takes on a much bigger role. It'll just be interesting to see how this usage plays out. I know Dante Dowdell will be a big, big, big part of this offense. But I'm going to put him at 5 just because it remains to be seen how that running back room shakes out or what the split's going to look like. But Nebraska hasn't had a true 3 down back for a while, so I don't know if that's necessarily the route they're gonna go with Dowdell. We'll see. Coming in at number 4, Isaiah Neyor, and I almost wanted to put Isaiah Neyor higher. The thing about Neyor is with Jamal Banks, I feel like he's bumped up, a little bit. So I almost wanted to put him higher, but I'm going to put him here for now just as his own independent ranking. And I'll get into a little bit why, when I get to Jamal Banks, why I think those two together is perfect. Um, Isaiah Neyor was second team All Mountain West. He when he was at Wyoming, he was at Wyoming under Craig Bowl and had a lot of success there. Tore his ACL in camp when he transferred over to Texas. But looking at his time in Wyoming, in 2021, 12 touchdowns, 878 yards, 19 and a half yards per reception. So, he is a playmaker in every sense of the word. It is simple, get the ball in his hands. Wyoming did that, and Wyoming didn't have a very good offense, didn't have a very good passing game, and he still was able to acquire 12 touchdowns, 870 yards, 19 and a half receptions per. So injuries were really the demise and why he was transferring out of Texas. He tore his ACL in, spring ball. And then, in that Sarkisian system, or he wasn't able to find his footing again because you had guys like Xavier Worthy in there and stuff that really kind of took over that wide receiver room. He sat out all of 2022, and then in 2023 just couldn't find his footing back in that room. So coming over 2 years removed from the ACL surgery, so I'm not too worried about that. He'll be 100% when he gets here, 2 years removed from it. So it's just a yards after catch machine, crazy acceleration, extremely tough catches all over his film too. Really good route runner, just a deep threat, which is a perfect fit for Satterfield's offense because, Satterfield is going to use that physicality, use that run game, and try to open up that deep ball. And now we have some deep ball weapons, but not only that, a quarterback that can get it to them. And that's the biggest thing. And that's why Isaiah Neyor is going to excel in this offense. I do see some of his probably stuff looking a little bit like a Trey Palmer in terms of just what he can do stretching the field. He can really do it all. Successful in screens. You see a lot of sweeps, reverses. He can go up and get a ball. And like I said, he had success under Polasek, but Sark just kind of buried him on the depth chart when he kind of took over at Texas, and so it'll be nice for him to get a fresh start, new change of scenery, and Matt Rule again going after these guys that are coming off injuries and maybe have been lower in terms of what teams want them because of that, and really just kind of bringing them back to what they were, developing them, and then making them a big part of this offense. Because as we saw, the offense last year was abysmal. And you have to think that getting a quarterback like Dylan Raiola played a big part in being able to land these guys, because I don't know what kind of wide receiver running back would have wanted to come play for this offense if we didn't get a quarterback in this either portal season or recruiting class. So number 3, Stefon Thompson. And I did a video on Stefon Thompson, a little bit more diving in depth of, what he did in his career so far, but really intriguing for me. I really like Stefon Thompson. So I may be higher on him than most, but, very, very familiar with the 3-3-5, played under Tony White in Syracuse, 169 tackles in his career, 10 and a half sacks, 20 TFLs, 4 forced fumbles. And one of the biggest things was he made an impact day one as a true freshman. Was the first true freshman to start in Syracuse in 10 years. So, big monumental moment there. But not only that, 4 forced fumbles, which is 20th in Syracuse's history. He has 2 seasons of eligibility left. ACL tear in the opener of 2022, very similar to Isaiah Neyor, very early on in the season. But again, it's something that he played 2023 and had a really good season, 53 tackles. So he was able to come back and rebound from the ACL tear pretty well. And I think that's the biggest thing is because he was in a green jersey most of that camp. that spring ball, even into spring ball, was in a green jersey, non-contact. For those that don't know, a green jersey is a non-contact jersey. So he was in that jersey and wasn't able to even get full speed reps going into the season. And so for him to come out and still have 53 tackles and a solid season across the board, the thing about injuries is they are mental, very, very mental. One of the biggest and most difficult things to do after a major injury is to not only just recover, but even when that thing is 100%, your mind is just constantly worried about re-injuring it, re-aggravating it. So for him to come out, and do what he did that season without those reps to really gain confidence in that ACL again, and just kind of had to do it trial by fire as the season went along. I just really like Stefon Thompson as a player. I like his attitude and, just everything about him screams just a gamer. He can do a little bit of everything, but he's probably going to be, a inside day one starter, but I think he's going to probably move around a little bit. He has the versatility to be able to move to a jack or a rover, or just slide around the defense, with the versatility of the 3-5, as we've seen. Everybody's moving everywhere, and Stefon Thompson probably loves that aspect of it. It's also very aggressive defense. So Thompson can cover tight ends. He's athletic enough to cover tight ends. He's explosive, really, really good football instincts, IQ, and I think we're going to see really good from it. We needed an inside linebacker, and he fits. I know the defense is going to be solid regardless, but I just think he is going to be a key in that offense in 2024, and we're going to see a lot of him. So number two, Michael Mazuka, Mazuka. Depending on where you look, again, it's spelled differently. So I need to clarify which one it is, but we'll go with Mazuka because that's how most people pronounce it. Um, he's got one season of eligibility left. The biggest thing for him, he was a 2-year starter at Baylor, and before he went to Florida, and he was ninth amongst Power 5 guards and run blocking in 2022. He was, I believe, second in PFF's big block rankings, which is basically springing something, springing off a play, setting that big block. So he was second in that with 12. Nawili graduated. Latovsky and Evan Jenkins were behind him. He has, Evans Jenkins, for what it's worth, going through his PFF grades, 61.3 pass block, 81.6 run block. I'm sorry, 61.3 run block, 81.6 pass block, and a 58.8 overall grade. That was the performance of him last year, but he's going to be gone. And outside of that, we did see development from this offensive line. I know people really are hard on our offensive line, but the development was there. Even from 2021, looking at 2021, 159 overall pressures that were put on our quarterbacks from that offensive line. In 2023, it was only 89. And looking at some of these guys, their grades have gone up over the course of the year. So the line is developing. It's just that we lost some of these guys, and we really need to fortify that line because we're really not locked into any one guy consistently, outside of maybe tackle. And so I really see Michael Mazuka coming in here and being a big part of establishing this run game that they want to run, because Marcus Satterfield getting big, getting tight ends in there. And one of the things that makes Michael Mazuka really good is he has SEC experience, played in the Big 12. He's big, physical, but one of the biggest things that I see is he gets to the second level quickly when needed. And that is what's able to let him spring some of these blocks and spring some of these big runs, because he's a big dude. He's a strong dude and very, very physical, at the line of scrimmage in the trenches. And so, that physicality is that hard-nosed physicality is what this team is kind of turning into. That was kind of their calling card for success, especially on the defensive side of the ball, is physicality. We bring in an offensive lineman that is used to the big guys, the big defensive lines, but also has succeeded there. Not only that, his PFF grades speak for themselves, significantly better than most of our line this previous year. And, it's one of those things where when you get a quarterback, the most important things are the tackles, protecting the quarterback. But having strong guard play, we haven't really had consistent guard play in a while. So it's going to be really nice to have a guy out there that's tried and true that we know can come out there. And not only that, see what this development, see what Raiola can do with them over the course of this fall camp and into, winter conditioning, fall camp, into spring ball, and really see what, how much development he can give him and what a role he can have in this team because, everything starts the offensive line, as we all know, especially in the Big Ten. We need these big physical guys. We need to be able to establish our run game, and having a bit, a line like this with a physical back like a Dowdell, et cetera, it's going to go a long way for this offense, but it all starts with the big guys up front. So rightfully I couldn't put Dowdell ahead of Mazuka, but big year coming up for Mazuka. And then moving to my number one, Jamal Banks. And who else could it have been? When I was talking about Isaiah Neyor in a previous video, before Jamal Banks committed, because Isaiah Neyor came first, I really liked the Isaiah Neyor get. However, I think Isaiah Neyor was the type of player that really needs a true X to complement his skill set. So Isaiah Neyor is going to be the deep threat in this offense, along with, a couple of other guys that we saw true freshmen break out this year. But Isaiah Neyor is a proven guy. And Jamal Banks is very, very much a physicality type of receiver. Going back to his time at Wake Forest, over 800 yards. He had 59 receptions, 653 yards, 4 touchdowns, an 11.1 average, 0 drops, right? And then over his career, 2,368 yards, 14 touchdowns. And so he's just a sure-handed guy. Like I said, no drops. And the biggest things about him is he is very, very good at finding the ball and attacking it at its high point and winning those jump balls. Where he's going to be huge this season and why he comes in at number one for me is getting the intermediate pass to work when we needed a first down. It was near impossible. We put ourselves in so many third and long situations just because we really didn't have too much of a consistent, anything outside of somewhat of a consistent run game. But you come out and run the ball twice, you're in third and long. You don't have a guy who can even complete, short passes consistently. So we're really setting ourselves up behind the chains a lot last year. Having a guy like a Jamal Banks who, on third and long, you can really try to dial something up to get the ball to on the outside and know that he's going to give you the best opportunity to get that first down. And he's going to do everything he can with his physicality and his size and his frame to go get that ball. And you like your odds in those situations. Same thing in the red zone. Red zone offense struggled. Having a guy like a Jamal Banks there is going to be key. But then having a guy like Jamal Banks there for them to focus on, and then having a guy like Isaiah Neyor to squeak out, get out on a bubble, a screen, do something like that. That's another reason why I think these two play perfectly into each other. When I look at Jamal Banks's film, I'm reminded very much of DeAndre Hopkins because, and looking at DeAndre Hopkins, his average 14 yards, average reception over his career. Banks is at 13 over 2022 and 2023. He doesn't really contain much of the yards after catch. He doesn't really have that escapability after the catch, but he does so much in terms of possessions, getting the ball at the point of attack, being physical with the defensive backs, and just kind of asserting his dominance over guys. He knows how to use his body. That's the biggest thing. You have guys out here with huge frames. Even look at some of the offensive linemen. These guys are massive. But the thing is, if you don't have the confidence and you don't know how to use it properly, it's not going to do you any good. Even a guy like Isaiah Neyor, whose specialty is the deep ball, even he has the ability to go up and get the ball. The ball skills are tremendous, and ball skills are everything. It's one of the biggest keys, even for a defensive back, is ball skills. So, being able to track the ball, go up and get it at its high point, and being able to do it better than these DBs is going to be huge for us going forward. And it's like I said, it's going to open up Isaiah Neyor. To go back to the DeAndre Hopkins comparison, the first thing that popped in my head when I thought this guy looks like DeAndre Hopkins is it reminds me of the 2017 Texans where they had that connection with DeAndre Hopkins and Will Fuller, where they would have DeAndre Hopkins as that guy who they can pepper with targets. And then when they need to break one open, they get those crossing routes going. And that's when they break Will Fuller free. And, if we can get Jalen Lloyd and some Isaiah Neyor on some crossing patterns, good luck out there, safeties. I really want to see how that comes to be. And then you got to worry about covering Jamal Banks underneath now. Raiola's got a cannon. Just a lot to be excited about, overall in this team. And so, I'll run back through the rankings real quick. Number 6, Blye Hill. Number 5, Dante Dowdell. 4, Isaiah Neyor. 3, Stefon Thompson. 2, Michael Mazuka, however you want to say it. And number 1, Jamal Banks. So that's my list. Let me know what y'all think in the comments. Did you like my rankings? Do you disagree with anything about any of these players? And I'm really just curious to know your thoughts. And I'll be in the comments interacting with y'all and kind of bouncing those opinions off of y'all as well. So that'll do it for me here. As always, I appreciate everybody's support here on the channel, likes, comments, subscribers. We're going to keep pushing forward and giving you content you like. So again, if you like what we're doing, please consider liking and subscribing. And I'll be talking to y'all in the comments. So I will see y'all. I'll be posting a video tomorrow as well. So I will see you on the next video. Peace.